The desert planet was silent. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of death. Broken ships lay scattered like bones of giants. The ground was black from fire. The wind carried the smell of smoke and metal. A lone human explorer walked through the ruins. His boots crunched on the sand and glass. His helmet visor glowed faintly, scanning for signs of life, but there was nothing. No human, no alien. Only wreckage from a battle long finished. He moved carefully, his hand always near his blaster. He had traveled across many worlds, but this place felt different. Empty, but not safe. Then he heard it at first. It was only a whisper, like the sound of the wind. But then it came again, a soft cry. A cry that did not belong in this dead battlefield. The explorer froze. His heart raced. He looked left, then right, his eyes searching through broken walls and twisted metal. Again the sound came, this time clearer. A cry of pain. No, not just pain. Sorrow. He followed it, step by step, through the wreckage. His boots echoed too loudly in the quiet. The closer he came, the stronger the cry became. It was weak, fragile, but alive at last. He saw it. Hidden under a half-broken structure was a cage. The bars were strange, glowing faintly with alien energy. Inside the cage was a girl. Not human. Her skin was pale silver, faintly glowing under the dim light. Her eyes were large, filled with fear and tears. She was shaking, curled against the corner of the cage, as if trying to disappear. She had nothing, no clothes, no food, no hope, only her tears. The explorer stopped, his breath caught in his throat. For a moment, he thought it was a trick. Many aliens used traps. But the girl's eyes, they told another story. They were full of pain, full of loneliness. He stepped closer, careful. She flinched back, pressing against the cage wall. "It's okay," he whispered, though he knew she might not understand. "I won't hurt you." The cage glowed brighter when he touched it. Strange symbols appeared, written in a language he didn't know. The bars hummed with energy. This was no ordinary prison. The girl's lips trembled. She tried to speak. Her voice was broken, weak. Danger. Don't. His heart pounded harder. Who was she? Why was she locked away in such a cage? Was she a prisoner, or something far worse? The explorer looked around. The ruins were quiet, too quiet, but he felt eyes watching him. A chill crawled up his spine. He crouched closer to the girl. "Who did this to you?" He asked softly. Her tears slid down her silver cheeks. She shook her head, unable to answer. But her eyes, they begged him. They begged for freedom. He pressed his hand against the cage again. The symbols glowed brighter, pulsing as if alive. He felt heat against his skin. Pain shot through his hand, but he didn't move it. He wanted to help her. He had to. Then the ground shook. A heavy sound echoed through the ruins. A deep thud, like footsteps, but heavier. Something was moving in the shadows. The girl's eyes went wide with terror. She shook her head wildly, whispering again, "No, no, no." The explorer turned, pulling out his blaster. His visor scanned the darkness, but the shadows were thick. The sound grew louder, closer. He looked back at the cage. The girl's tears streamed faster. She pressed against the bars, her hands reaching out toward him, desperate. "Please." Her voice was almost gone. "Help." He gritted his teeth. If he opened the cage, he might unleash something dangerous. If he left her, she would die here alone. His hand hovered over the lock. Sweat dripped down his face inside the helmet. The sound of footsteps grew louder. Metal scraped against stone. A deep growl echoed through the ruins. The cage shook suddenly. as if reacting to the approaching presence. The symbols flashed like fire. The girl screamed. The explorer spun around. And there, in the shadows of the broken battlefield, something huge began to move. The air filled with a low, monstrous roar. The explorer raised his blaster, heart racing. Eyes locked on the darkness, but in the corner of his vision, he saw the girl against Till, trapped, still crying. Still reaching out to him. He had to make a choice. Free her now and risk everything, or run and leave her to her fate. The ruins shook again. The cage pulsed with light dot, and then the monster stepped into the light. Its eyes burned with fire. Its claws dragged against the stone. Its body towered like a nightmare. The explorer froze, his breath caught. Behind him, the girl screamed louder, slamming her hands against the cage, her tears falling like rain. She had nothing left. No clothes, no hope, no future, only her tears, and the explorer was the only one who could change her fate. The monster's roar still echoed through the ruins. Dust fell from broken walls. The explorer's grip on his blaster tightened, but his eyes flicked back to the cage. The alien girl was trembling, her silver skin glowing faintly, her eyes wide with fear. She pressed her hands against the bars, whispering again and again, "Don't, don't. Danger." The explorer's heart raced. He had fought many battles before, but something about this moment was different. He felt the weight of choice. Crushing him, the monster's shadow stretched across the ground, long claws scraping as it moved closer. Its body was massive, its eyes burning like red fire. It smelled of death. The explorer fired. Blue energy blasted from his weapon, striking the beast's chest. The monster stumbled but did not fall. Instead, it let out another roar, angry, louder than before. The girl screamed. The cage rattled violently, glowing symbols flashing like lightning. The explorer spun back to her. He had no time. The monster was coming closer. He had two choices: fight and die, or open the cage. He placed both hands on the glowing lock. The energy burned against his skin. The alien symbols shifted, as if alive, as if testing him. The girl's voice cracked. No. Don't, they will come. Her words confused him. Who would come? Why was she locked away? But the roar behind him reminded him he didn't have time for answers. He pressed harder. Pain shot up his arms, but the lock began to flicker. Sparks jumped. The cage shook. The monster charged. The ground split beneath its heavy steps. Its claws raised, ready to strike. The explorer yelled and pulled harder. The lock cracked. Light exploded from the symbols. With a final push, the cage door snapped open. The girl gasped, her body weak to move. She had been in that prison for too long. "Get out!" the explorer shouted, grabbing her arm. Her skin was cold, trembling, but she tried to stand. The monster swung its claw. The explorer rolled, pulling the girl with him. The claw smashed into the stone, breaking it into pieces. He dragged her through the ruins. Blaster in one hand, her wrist in the other. She stumbled, her legs shaking, but she tried to follow. The monster roared again, chasing them, its heavy steps shaking the ground. The explorer fired back over his shoulder. But the energy blasts only slowed the creature. They ran into a tunnel, dark and narrow. The walls dripped with moisture. The sound of the monster's claws echoed behind them, scraping closer and closer. The girl's voice was faint. Why help me?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. He didn't even know himself. All he knew was that he couldn't leave her in that cage. They reached the end of the tunnel, a dead end. Broken rocks blocked the path. The explorer cursed. Under his breath, he looked around quickly. There was no way forward. The monster's shadow filled the tunnel mouth. Its glowing eyes burned like fire in the darkness. The girl fell to her knees, tears streaming. "Leave me. Leave me. They made me dangerous." The explorer crouched beside her. His chest heaved, his mind racing. He could feel the monster's hot breath in the tunnel. "Listen," he said, voice steady despite the fear clawing at him. "You're not dangerous. You're a prisoner. And I don't leave prisoners behind." The girl looked at him, her eyes filled with pain and something else, hope. The monster roared and charged into the tunnel. Its claws tore through the stone, breaking the walls apart. The explorer fired again and again, his blaster glowing in the dark. Each shot struck the monster, but still it came. The girl clutched his arm suddenly. Her skin glowed brighter, strange symbols appearing across her body. Her voice was trembling but strong. "I can stop it. But if I do, I will fall." The explorer stared at her, shocked. She was weak, almost broken. And yet, hidden inside her was power. "No," he said quickly. "Don't. We'll find another way." The monster crashed through the last rocks, its roar shaking the tunnel. The girl's glow spread, lighting the walls with strange alien patterns. Her eyes turned white, glowing like stars. The explorer held her, trying to stop her, but her body was already burning with energy. She whispered, "I'm sorry." And then light exploded. A wave of energy blasted out from her body, slamming into the monster. The creature screamed, thrown back, crashing against the stone. The tunnel shook as dust and rock fell from the ceiling. The explorer shielded his eyes from the burning light. When the glow faded, the girl collapsed into his arms, unconscious. Her breathing was shallow, her body trembling. The monster was gone, buried under fallen rock. For now, the explorer held her tight, staring at her. Fragile face. Who was she? What power lived inside her? Why had she been locked away like a weapon? He didn't know the answers. But one thing was clear, he could not leave her, as he lifted her in his arms and carried her out of the tunnel. A sharp crackle filled his. "Broken comes." A cold alien voice spoke, heavy with command. "Return the prisoner, or die." The explorer froze. His blood ran cold. Someone knew. Someone was watching. The hunt had just begun. The explorer carried the alien girl in his arms, her body weak and trembling. The tunnel behind them was filled with dust and broken stone. The monster was buried for now, but he knew it would not stay down forever. Her silver skin glowed faintly, lines of strange symbols running across her arms and neck. She looked fragile, yet inside her was something terrifying, something powerful. Outside, the ruins stretched wide and empty. The sky was dark, covered with thick clouds, flashes of lightning. Breaking through, the explorer laid her down gently against a broken wall. Her eyes opened slowly, dim with exhaustion. "You saved us," he whispered. Her lips trembled. "No, I cursed us. They will come." Before he could ask what she meant, the ground shook again. This time, it was not the monster. It was heavier. Multiple steps. Dozens. The explorer raised his visor and scanned the horizon. Shapes moved in the distance. Tall, armored figures with glowing weapons. Soldiers, not human. Not friendly. The girl clutched his arm weakly. "They hunt me. Always. I cannot escape." He stared at her. "Then we run. Together." He pulled her up, supporting her as they moved. But the sound behind them grew louder. The soldiers were closing in fast. They moved through the ruins, broken towers rising like sharp teeth around them. The girl stumbled, every step painful. The explorer half carried her, his breath sharp inside his helmet. Blaster fire cracked through the air. Blue bolts lit the ruins, striking the ground near them. The soldiers were firing now. The explorer ducked behind a fallen wall, pulling her down with him. Stone exploded as blasts struck above their heads. He aimed his own blaster and fired back. 2 soldiers fell, their glowing armor sparking as they hit the ground. But more kept coming. Too many. The girl's eyes glowed faintly again, but she shook her head. I cannot. Not again. My body will break. He looked at her, jaw tight. Then I'll protect you. They broke cover, running again. The ruins turned into a maze of tunnels and shattered buildings. The soldiers' voices echoed behind them, speaking in a harsh alien tongue. Orders, commands. The hunt was in full motion now. The explorers' cums crackled again. The same cold voice whispered, "Human, you cannot keep her. Return the prisoner, or be destroyed." He ripped the cums from his ear and threw it aside. The girl looked up at him with weak eyes. "You don't understand. I was made, not born. I am weapon." The words sank into his chest like a blade. But he didn't stop. He tightened his grip on her arm. "Maybe, but right now, you're alive. That's all that matters." Blaster fire rained down again. They darted into another tunnel, this one sloping downward. It smelled of rust and fuel. At the bottom of the slope, the explorer saw Itan. Old transport ship, broken but not completely dead. Hope flickered. He rushed to it, pulling the girl inside. The controls were ancient, covered in dust. He powered them up. The ship hummed weakly, lights flickering. "No fuel," he muttered. Slamming his fist on the console, the girl leaned against the wall, her body shaking. "We cannot run. They will trap us." The sound of boots echoed at the tunnel entrance. Soldiers appeared, their glowing eyes scanning the ship. The explorer pulled his blaster and fired, sparks filling the air. The soldiers returned fire, forcing him to duck behind the console. The girl crawled closer, her hand brushing against his. Her voice was almost gone. "If I use my power, you must leave me. Promise." He looked at her, rage in his eyes. "I don't make promises I can't keep." The soldiers stormed closer, their weapons glowing brighter. The explorer pulled her close, whispering, "We're not dying here. Not today." He reached under the control panel and found what he was searching for an emergency power core. Small, unstable, but maybe enough. He jammed it into the system. The ship roared weakly to life. Engines sputtered, lights flashed. The soldiers opened fire, bolts slamming into the hull. The explorer shouted, "Hold on," and pulled the lever. The ship lurched, skidding across the ground, half flying, half crashing. The soldiers chased, firing as the engine struggled to lift. The girl clung to him, her tears streaking her glowing skin. They will never stop. The explorer gritted his teeth. "Then let them come. I'll stop them all." The ship shook violently, smoke pouring from the engines. It wasn't flying yet, just barely escaping behind them. The soldiers grew smaller, but their glowing eyes still burned in the distance. The girl buried her face against his chest, whispering, "One word, why?" He looked out at the storm-filled sky, his jaw hard. "Because no one deserves a cage." Lightning split the sky as the ship rose a little higher, carrying them into the unknown. But in the shadows, deep below the ruins, the monster stirred again. Its roar rumbled through the ground, shaking the world. The chase was far from over. The transport ship groaned as it struggled through the storm. Sparks burst from the old engine. Smoke filled the cabin. The explorer kept both hands tight on the controls. His teeth gritted. The alien girl sat weakly beside him, her silver skin pale, her eyes half closed. The glow on her body had faded, leaving her fragile, almost broken. Outside, Lightning ripped across the sky. Each flash lit the scars of the ruined battlefield below. But worse than the storm was the sound, the crackle of comms, voices whispering in alien tongues. They were still being tracked. The explorer slammed the controls again. "Come on, stay with me." The ship rattled but refused to climb higher. The girl's voice was faint. "You can't escape them. No ship, no world is safe." He turned to her. "Then tell me why. Tell me why they hunt you." Her eyes glistened with tears. She shook her head. "If you know, you will fear me too." Before he could reply, the ship shook violently. A blast of energy tore through the left wing. Warning lights screamed. The explorer looked through the cracked window. A smaller alien craft was chasing them. Sleek, deadly, faster than his broken transport. The enemy ship fired again. The explorer yanked the controls, the transport diving through the storm clouds. Lightning flashed, thunder roared, the whole sky burned white. The girl clutched the seat, her hands trembling. "Stop. If they destroy us, I will break free." "What do you mean?" he demanded. Her eyes glowed faintly. The strange symbols across her skin began to reappear. "You don't understand. I'm not only prisoner, I'm weapon." The explorer's chest tightened. He remembered her energy blast in the tunnel, how it had buried the monster. That wasn't just defense, it was destruction. The enemy ship fired again. The blast tore through the transport's hull. Panels ripped away. Air screamed through the cracks. The girl gasped. Her body glowed brighter, her skin covered now with flowing alien patterns. Her hair lifted as if in an invisible storm. The explorer grabbed her wrist. "Stop. You'll kill yourself." She looked at him with glowing white eyes. "Better me than both of us." The light from her body spread through the cabin, blinding, burning. The explorer shielded his eyes, but he felt her shaking violently, as if her body couldn't contain the power. Outside, the storm parted. A surge of raw energy burst from her chest, forming a wave of white fire. It struck the enemy ship with terrifying force. The sleek craft shattered in midair, pieces burning as they fell into the storm. Silence followed. The only sound was the broken hum of the transport's dying engines. The girl collapsed back into her seat, her body limp. Her glow dimmed to almost nothing. The explorer caught her before she fell. Her breathing was shallow, her face pale. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered, his voice breaking. Her lips trembled. "Because I am not meant to live. I was made to end. They built me to destroy." His grip tightened on her. "You're not a weapon. You're alive. You're more than they wanted you to be." Her tears slid down her glowing cheeks. She shook her head. "You don't understand. Every time I use my power, a piece of me dies." The explorer's heart sank. He finally understood why she had begged him not to free her, why her own kind had locked her away. She wasn't only dangerous to others. She was dangerous to herself. The ship gave one last shudder. With a groan, the engines failed. The transport spiraled down through the storm, crashing into the desert below. The impact threw them both forward. Metal screamed, glass shattered. When the dust cleared, the ship lay broken in the sand. The explorer pulled himself up, blood on his forehead, ribs aching. He turned quickly. The girl was lying against the wall, barely conscious. Her glow was gone. He crawled to her side, holding her face gently. "Stay with me." Her eyes opened, weak, searching his. "They will come again. They will never stop." The explorer looked around. In the distance, through the storm clouds, more alien ships appeared, dark shapes against the lightning. He clenched his jaw. He could feel the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. He had saved her once. He had chosen to fight for her. But now, as more enemies closed in, he asked himself a question that burned like fire. Had he saved a girl, or unleashed a power that would doom them both? The storm rumbled louder. Shadows grew closer, and deep in the desert, the ground began to shake again. The monster was not finished. The explorer tightened his grip on his blaster. He looked at the girl, fragile but alive, and whispered, "Then let them come." The storm had passed, leaving only silence. The broken transport lay half buried in the desert sand. Smoke curled into the dark sky. The explorer sat inside the wreck, breathing hard. His body ached from the crash, but he forced himself to stay awake. His blaster rested in his lap, though he knew it was useless against the whole army that hunted them. Beside him, the alien girl stirred. Her silver skin was dim now, her glow almost gone. She looked fragile, smaller than before, her body trembling. With every breath, her eyes opened slowly. She looked at him, and for the first time, there was no fear in her gaze. "Only sorrow. You should have left me," she whispered. The explorer shook his head. "And let you die in that cage? Never." She closed her eyes, tears sliding down her cheeks. "You don't understand. The cage was not punishment. It was protection for others. From me." Her words chilled him. He leaned closer. "What do you mean?" The girl pulled her knees to her chest, hugging herself as if trying to hide from her own truth. "I was made by my people, not born. Made in a lab. A weapon in the shape of a girl." The explorer felt his chest tighten. He remembered the blast of energy, the way entire ships fell apart under her power. She continued, her voice trembling. "I was designed to end wars, to destroy armies in seconds. My body, it holds power that should not exist. But there is a price. Each time I use it, it eats me from the inside. I burn a little more." Her words broke into silence. Only the wind moved through the wreck. The explorer clenched his fists, so they locked you away. Their own creation, their own child. She shook her head. "Not child, not family, just tool. They feared what I was becoming. They saw my tears. My will, they knew I did not want to obey. So they caged me. They would rather watch me die slowly in prison than risk me being free." The explorer looked at her, his chest heavy. He had seen cruelty in the galaxy. He had seen slaves, soldiers, and tyrants. But this was worse. To make life only. To trap it, to give someone a soul, then deny it freedom. Her tears fell faster. "Every world I step on, I bring death. That is why they hunt me. Not to save me, to erase me." He reached out and took her hand gently. Her skin was cold, trembling. "Then let them come. We'll fight them together." Her eyes widened. "Why, you barely know me. You know what I am." He stared into her eyes, steady. "I know enough. You're alive. That's enough reason." For the first time, a faint smile touched her lips. But it vanished quickly as the ground began to shake. The explorer's head snapped up. Dust fell from the wreck. The sound grew louder, metal boots striking the sand. He crawled to the broken window and looked out. His heart sank. Dozens of alien soldiers marched across the desert, their armor glowing, weapons humming with deadly power. They spread out, surrounding the wreck. The cums crackled again, their cold voice filling the air. "Human, you hold the forbidden one. Step away and live, stay with her, and die." The girl curled into herself, her tears returning. "See, they will kill us both. Please, leave me." The explorer gripped his blaster, jaw tight. Not a chance. The soldiers moved closer. Their shadows stretched long in the sand. The girl's glow flickered weakly across her skin. She tried to stand but collapsed again. She had no strength left. The explorer lifted her into his arms, her body light, fragile. He looked out at the soldiers and felt the impossible weight of choice pressing on him again. He could hear their weapons, charging. He could hear the monster beneath the earth stirring once more. He whispered into her ear, "Firm and calm, they call you forbidden. But to me, you are the only thing worth saving." The girl's eyes widened, shimmering with tears. For the first time, she did not look broken. She looked alive. But outside, the soldiers raised their weapons. The first shot fired. The desert night exploded with light. Blaster fire ripped through the wreck of the transport ship, sending shards of metal flying. The explorer shielded the alien girl with his body, pulling her deeper into the wreck. Outside, dozens of armored soldiers marched closer, their glowing eyes fixed on the ship. Their leader's voice echoed through a speaker, cold and commanding. "Human, you protect what must never be free. Step aside, or fall with her." The explorer tightened his grip on his blaster. His chest rose and fell in sharp breaths, but his voice was steady. "Then I fall." The first wave of soldiers charged. Blasts tore into the wreck, shaking the walls. The explorer leaned out, firing quickly. 2 soldiers dropped, sparks flying from their armor. But more kept coming. Too many. The girl crawled toward him, her silver skin faintly glowing, tears streaking her cheeks. "Stop. You cannot win. They are endless." He glanced at her, his face lit by fire and smoke. "Maybe, but I don't run." She grabbed his arm, desperate. "If I release my power again, it will kill me." He looked into her eyes, his jaw set. "Then we find another way." But the walls of the wreck burst apart. Soldiers poured inside, their weapons humming. The explorer fired, hitting one, then another, but a blast struck his shoulder, spinning him back. Pain burned through him, but he stayed on his feet. The girl screamed. Her body glowed brighter, patterns spreading across her skin like fire. She clutched her chest, shaking. "No," she whispered. "Not again." The soldiers raised their weapons at her. The explorer stepped in front of her, arms wide, ready to take the fire. His voice was raw, defiant. "You'll have to kill me first." The soldiers fired, but before the blasts could land, light erupted. The girl's scream became a wave of power. Blinding white energy burst from her body, crashing into the soldiers. The air shook. Sand lifted like a storm. The nearest soldiers were thrown back, armor shattering. Others dissolved into ash before they could even scream. The explorer shielded his face, his body shaking under the force. When the light faded, half the army lay broken in the sand. The rest stumbled, afraid. The girl collapsed to her knees, her glow flickering weakly. Blood ran from her nose, her body trembling violently. The explorer caught her before she hit the ground. "Stop, you'll die." Her eyes fluttered open, glowing faintly. "Better me than you." He shook his head fiercely. "No, you are more than their weapon. You are more than a cage. You're alive." Her tears fell onto his hands. For the first time, he saw something in her eyes, hope, but the battle was not over. From the horizon, more soldiers appeared. Hundreds. Their glowing armor filled the desert like an endless wave. And behind them, the ground split open. The monster rose again. The same beast that had hunted them from the ruins, now angrier than before. Its roar shook the night sky. Its claws ripped into the earth, eyes burning with fire. The explorer's heart sank. Soldiers in front, monster behind. No escape. He looked at the girl, weak in his arms. Her glow was fading. Her body couldn't take much more. "Listen," he whispered. "I'll hold them off. You stay here. Live." Her eyes widened. She grabbed his hand with surprising strength. No, you don't understand. A power. It was never meant for one. It was meant for two. He froze. What do you mean? Her tears sparkled as her glow flickered again. I was made as a weapon, but also a bond. I cannot survive alone. My power destroys me, but if shared, it can live. The explorer's chest tightened. Shared? With who? She looked at him, her eyes shining through the tears. With you. The ground shook as the soldiers charged again. The monster roared, fire in its breath. The girl's glow spread, wrapping around his hands, his arms, his chest. He felt it, her energy flowing into him, burning but alive. His vision blurred. Symbols flashed across his skin, glowing like hers. He gasped, his body shaking. What is this? Her voice was faint but steady. The only way. Together, the soldiers fired. The monster charged, and then light consumed the desert. The explorer screamed, his voice merging with hers. Their power combined, their glow burning brighter than the storm. The soldiers stopped in fear. The monster roared in pain. The desert was no longer silent. It was alive with fire, with light, with freedom. But as the glow faded, the explorer looked down at her. Her body was limp, her eyes closed. "Stay with me," he whispered, his voice cracking. The battle was won for now. But the price was only beginning. The desert lit up with war. The desert was on fire with light. The combined power of the explorer and the alien girl had torn through the battlefield like a storm. Soldiers lay broken in the sand. The monster, once unstoppable, had collapsed into a pit of its own making, its roars fading into silence. The wind carried smoke and ash. The night was still again, but the silence was not peace, was only the eye of the storm. The explorer fell to his knees, his chest heaving. His arms still glowed faintly with alien symbols, but the power inside him was fading. He looked down at the girl in his arms. Her body was limp, her glow gone. Her silver skin was pale like ash, her breathing shallow. "No, stay with me," he whispered, his voice breaking. "We did it. We survived. Don't leave me now." Her eyes fluttered open, weak and tired. She looked at him with a sad smile. "You should not have taken my power. It burns humans. It will kill you too." He shook his head, holding her tighter. "Then let it. I'd rather burn than watch you die." Tears slid down her cheeks. Her hand lifted slowly, touching his face. "You don't understand. My people will never stop. As long as I live, they will hunt. Whole worlds will fall. You cannot protect me forever." His jaw tightened. "Then we run. Together, as far as it takes." She closed her eyes for a moment, as if listening to something far away. When she opened them again, her voice was softer. "I was never meant to live free. That is my curse. But you can still choose." The explorer's heart pounded. Choose what? Her tears shimmered in the faint light. Choose me or choose survival. Before he could answer, his broken gums crackled to life again. A deep alien voice filled the night. "Human, you carry the Forbidden One. Return her and we will spare your life. Refuse, and the galaxy will burn." The explorer froze. The words sank deep into him. They weren't threats, they were promises. He imagined entire worlds falling under alien fire, endless armies marching, monsters tearing cities apart all because of her. The girl's weak voice whispered, "They are right. If I live, they will bring war. If I die, the war ends." He shook his head violently. "No, you're not a weapon. You're a person. They don't get to decide your fate." Her hand slipped from his cheek, falling weakly to her side. "Then decide yourself. Let me go. or fight with me until the stars themselves burn." The explorer's breath caught. The desert wind howled around them. The sky above flashed with distant ships. Reinforcements were coming. Time was running out. He looked at her, fragile in his arms. Her eyes still begging not for freedom, but for him to make the choice she could not. His mind raged. Save her, and the galaxy would suffer. Let her go, and he would break forever. At last, his voice came, raw and steady. "I don't care if the galaxy burns. I choose you." The girl's eyes widened, tears spilling down her glowing cheeks. For a moment, she looked alive again, her lips trembling into the faintest smile. But the Cum's voice returned, colder than ever. "Then the galaxy will burn." The sky above erupted with light. Dozens of alien warships broke through the clouds, their weapons glowing like stars of death. The desert shook under their power. The explorer held her tighter, whispering into her ear, "Then let them come. We fight together." The girl closed her eyes, her glow flickering once more. The alien symbols spread across her body, then onto his, merging them into one. The storm of energy built again, brighter than before. The desert trembled. The night sky turned white. The galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. And then the screen of light consumed everything.